Welcome, everyone. This is Pamela Marie Edmunds, and this is Love Never Dies radio show. I am broadcasting from the beautiful Red Rocks of Sedona, Arizona. And hopefully all of you are starting to warm up a little and starting to feel that nice spring energy. Yes, I know winter may not be gone. As a matter of fact, there's a big storm coming across the country, and hopefully that won't be too bad. But my point being is there's a wonderful energy with the spring. It gets us out of our homes, and many of us have been isolated inside for reasons of taking care of ourselves and taking care of other people. And it's interesting, just beforehand, our guest Suzanne Giesemann was just talking about working on the internet. She's just like, what? And I had been told some time back that I'd be working from home. And I'm like, working from home? Well, isn't that the place we're all doing it right now? Working from home, or a place that's close to our home and where we're safe. So Love Never Dies is actually the second radio show that I have been the host and producer of over these years. My very first show was back in the early 2001, and that was Bridge Between Two Worlds. And that came and went. What I mean is I'd be on a venue, and then it was time to step away, and so there'd be a break. And then we find another venue. I've been on college radio, have been on a number of internet groups. And this time around, it was Spirit's idea. They said, well, do Zoom and archive all the shows on YouTube. So we are here on Zoom, as suggested by my guides. And all of these shows that are done here are put on the YouTube channel, which is Pamela Marie Edmunds. Okay. And I think I'm up to right now, I'm pushing towards 25 or 30 shows in there now. So, and that's every week. So anybody who's just, please, okay, and I may even, you know what, I'm going to mute people as they pop in myself here, if I can do that. If I can get the mute button. So I too am a medium. I've been working with mediumship now probably since about 2000. And I'm originally an East Coaster from Massachusetts. Some of you may be able to tell that because, you know, as we gather across the country here, we notice everybody's, oh, gee, where are they from? They've got an accent. I recognize that, or I don't recognize that. And how did I come to Sedona and doing this work? Spirit. It's all spirit guided. And that's the best way to live. If you've got a connection with your guides, with loved ones, please ask them what is the best for you to be doing. How do you do it? And of course, go up to that top of the line, that great, wonderful creator, God, whatever energy you want to call it, because that energy will never stray you. That energy will never stray you. And welcome to whomever's just showing up. I'm just starting the show off here. So if you're interested in knowing what's going on with this show, who's going to be coming up as guests, it's all on my website, PamelaMarieEdmunds.com. I also have services I list there and am available to do a couple different types of readings. I work with the animals. I'm an animal communicator besides a spirit medium. I also teach classes. There's a number of classes there. I'm doing mediumship classes here now. It's all on my website. And that's the best way to find it. If you're seeking to say, oh, a couple weeks later, say, gee, I want to see, wonder what Pamela's doing on her show, what Love Never Dies is offering. But I don't remember how to get into her Zoom room. That information too is on my website for your convenience. Best way to get in touch with me is through the website. If you have any questions, do you have any suggestions? If you've got some great ideas for a guest, would love to hear them. Okay. And I feel like it's time to move here to acknowledge our wonderful guest, Suzanne Giesemann.
Yep.
Thank you, Giesemann. I can spell it right, but I couldn't. And I got the spelling down, dear. Giesemann. Okay. And where are you talking to us from?
I am in Bluffton, South Carolina, just outside Hilton Head.
And what's the weather like, dear?
Actually, so gorgeous. Shorts weather, blue sky.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're warming up too. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. The first thing, Suzanne, is I'm going to read your bio, and then I'd like you to elaborate a little bit more about how Spirit started working with you, how this has unfolded, because you have a unique story, as many of us do, but yours is unique today. Okay, you're the head honcho with the unique story, is what I want to say. And by the way, Suzanne and I have done some interviews before. It's been a while, and but it's a thrill to have her here. I want to say that here now, and I probably will say it a few times. Okay, beautiful green on her bio. Okay, all right. Okay, Suzanne Giesemann, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Like a geese. Got it.
That's right.
Got it. Suzanne Giesemann is a retired U.S. Navy commander who served as a commanding officer and aide to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. She now serves humanity as a verified evidential medium and messenger of hope. She's the founder of The Awakened Way, a path to knowing who you are and why you're here. I need someone to silence, and I think I got, hang on. Got them. Okay. Okay. The Awakened Way is a path to knowing who you are and why you're here. Suzanne is the author of 13 books and an inspirational teacher and speaker. She has been a keynote presenter for international organizations, including Edgar Cayce's Association for Research and Enlightenment, the Academy for Spiritual and Consciousness Studies, and the International Association for Near-Death Studies. She has led weekend retreats at well-known spiritual centers, including Omega Institute, the Monroe Institute, Lilydale Assembly, and Unity Village. Suzanne's gift of evidential mediumship has been tested and proven. Her work has been recognized as highly credible by noted afterlife researchers and organizers. She's a faculty member at the Shift Network and has reached thousands of students around the globe with her online mediumship courses. Suzanne has written and narrated the popular mediumship series of Hemisync recordings. We'll have to ask what that's about. Whether in her books and recordings, her classes and workshops, her messages of hope, Unity online radio show, or her one-on-one sessions, Suzanne brings messages of hope, healing, and love that go straight to the heart and illuminate the light of self-awareness within. And her website is SuzanneGiesemann.com. Well, welcome, Suzanne. That's quite a bio, sweetheart. How long have you been doing this work now?
Since 2009.
Okay. And you know, that's really kind of a short time.
It is. And that's what I believe gives a lot of other people hope too, because I was not a born medium. I had no idea during my military career that I would be doing this work. And it's just grown exponentially, opened up beautifully, but not without a ton of work. You know, I think about people that look at Tiger Woods and say, well, he's just a superstar. And you look at other people that are out there doing really good things that you don't see what goes on behind the scenes.
Right.
To get to that point.
Can you share a bit about your story? I'm going to say, what took you from being a U.S. Navy commander to a medium? That's the bottom line.
Yeah, being the aide to the head of the U.S. military on 9/11, and being a witness to New York City, the Twin Towers burning with my own eyes as we flew over it in the last aircraft in US airspace, going back to my office building, the Pentagon, seeing that on 9/11, both places on the day it happened really affected me and started me asking the deep spiritual questions. Is this life all there is? And why do some people die early? And I didn't get any satisfactory answers because I didn't know how to go within, and I didn't have a connection to the greater reality. I didn't know there was a greater reality. I was very, very left brain, very focused on my military career, never saw spirits, and was interested in the possibility of those types of things, but was not raised with any religion either. So I started asking those questions and went searching for traditional religion answers, and it just didn't help me, didn't do it for me. So I retired from the Navy at exactly 20 years because another Navy commander had passed in the Pentagon during the attack. And I said, life is too short not to live your dreams while you can. So my husband and I sold our house, sold our cars, and took off sailing in our sailboat to live our dream. And it was idyllic for a couple of years. We even sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. But that's when life caught up to us, because as I know for a fact now, some of us need a major wake-up call to awaken to this greater reality. And unfortunately, that's how it goes for most of us. We're not going to really dig deep until we personally suffer. And 9/11 was horrible to be there, be the eyewitness, but it was not as up close and personal as getting this phone call while we were in Croatia that my stepdaughter, Susan, a sergeant in the Marines, had been struck by lightning while crossing the flight line at work. And though they worked on her for 7 hours and couldn't save her. And to add to that tragedy, she was 6 months pregnant with our only grandchild.
Oh.
So I really started seeking answers, especially after seeing her lifeless body in the coffin at the viewing. We flew back immediately, of course, and I just remember looking at her in one of the most profound moments of my life and saying, that is not her. That is just some body that has no resemblance to her whatsoever. So where is she? Because clearly she animated that body. And
Exactly.
so I just intuitively knew there is a soul, there's a spirit, and I'm going to find it. So I started meditating that very week. And I may have skipped 5 days for illness or some other reason between 2006 when she passed and now. And that meditative practice is what has just opened my awareness to the greater reality. So every one of my classes and talks focuses on the importance of having your own inner journey. And I'm not talking about an hour a day. It can be 5 to 10 minutes a day, but just to discover what's within all of us beneath the story and the exterior world. So in the process of meditating, I started to have open to adventures in consciousness is what I call them. But the most life-changing moment was when I took my husband to a medium to see if Susan really was here. And I waited to find somebody who didn't know me so she couldn't Google our last name, because I didn't know if this was real. I didn't want to be vulnerable and gullible. And I needed to know this was somebody who really was a medium. And I won't go into how I found her, but oh my gosh, she brought through such evidence that Susan was in that room with us that we were both sobbing. My husband, a retired destroyer captain, just as left brain as I was, it changed our world overnight. And I couldn't deny now, we don't die. Like the name of your show, you know, love never dies. Susan was right here. And so I had already published several books by that point. And I said, this news has to get out that there is an afterlife. So I wrote a couple of books about mediumship. And in the process of writing about 2 wonderful evidence-based mediums, discovered that those 3 years of meditating until the books came out had opened me to the ability that was dormant. And that's why I tell people, you don't know what you can do until you try. And it has just, once I just realized I can connect to other people's loved ones, I wanted to provide the same kind of healing that that medium provided to my husband and me. And I've done that, and I do it daily. And it's the greatest gift ever, beyond anything I ever did in the Navy.
Oh, it is a tremendous gift. And you partially said this, but I want to add this. Every one of us has the ability to be a medium. It's a desire of wanting to do so, maybe wanting to be of service, but also wanting to become more spiritually awake. And that's a big piece of what happens.
Yeah, I was just recently, 2 different places saw a statistic that truly resonates with me in my heart. I really believe this is true, and I know that all of us have the ability to tap into higher beings, because we are higher beings at another level. We're souls here and now. But how many of us can actually be mediums? It follows a bell curve. 10 to 20% over here can be really, really good. 60% can tap in and can make connections and really can do it. And then there'll be 10 to 20% on the other end that it's really not for you, but you might get a smattering of connections. But again, we don't know until we try.
Yeah. And right. And I've learned in my own practice that if people just are capable somehow of letting go of controls, then it will unfold. That is the biggest, probably one of the biggest issues. They're wanting to control things. And that's the ego mind. That's the other side of us that we, ask to kind of be quiet while we do mediumship. And it's a whole, and it's about the raising consciousness of the planet here too.
Amen.
It's huge. So thank you so much for sharing your journey. And what I want to title of our show tonight, still right here, which is the title of one of your books.
Yes.
And for some reason, and I have to trust, because obviously I work with spirit and I ask them to help guide me in the realm of this show and everything else that I do. I was very, very drawn to that particular book. And yes, some of your other books have some great information in them, I'm sure. Yet the experience of, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, you were on the boat, you and your husband, with another couple.
Well, we actually, through the wonderful organization called Helping Parents Heal, and I know some of you joining us tonight know about that group. It's a group that supports parents whose children have passed. We met the president of the organization, the founder, Elizabeth Boisson, and having dinner with her and some other friends we just met, our kids were present in spirit. I was the only medium, and I was just bringing them through and saying, well, here's your son, and here's your son, and my stepdaughter's here at this party with us. And we hit it off so well. I said, our kids want us to go on vacation together, which may sound ridiculous, but that's what we did. And we brought one other couple who I knew was perfect. So with these 4, what we call ourselves shining light parents, it's so much of a better term than bereaved parents. Our kids are our shining lights forever. And as we come to know that they're still right here,
yes,
we can find joy in our lives again. We'll always grieve their passing, but life goes on with them. And so our light comes back on, and we become shining lights for those who are new to this journey. So we 4 couples, shining light parents, chartered a boat in the Virgin Islands.
Wonderful.
And our kids were along with us. So I say that boat was more crowded than it seemed. And the book is the story of each of those kids and how they passed, but how they let the parents and their families know they are still right here. And we can extrapolate that to anybody who reads it, their families. They can understand that our kids want us to be happy. They understand why we grieve. They are willing to give us evidence anytime we need it to let us know they are part of our lives now. And the book is just filled with moments when they show us they are aware of what we're doing now. It's beautiful.
And I think that, I more or less read the excerpt, but sort of I guess they tuned into the rest of the energy around it and knew it was a very positive experience.
It's called Still Right Here. Somebody just asked in the chat. Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. Still right here. Awesome. And what of the other books? I know you've also worked with Mavis Patilla, which I've never met her, but I've heard about her. She's quite an extraordinary medium.
Mavis is a grande dame of British mediumship, one of my original mentors. I studied with at the Arthur Findlay College in England for evidence-based mediums. And she's been practicing for over 50 years. And I had the honor of writing her biography about 2 years ago, going over to England and spending a week with her and interviewing her. And it's just such a blessing to be able to take these unique stories filled with evidence of the afterlife and share it with the world. That book is called Droplets of God, which is Mavis's term for the many times that spirit puts thoughts in our head and we think they're ours, but they're droplets of God, which is just,
oh, nice, nice.
And it's an amazing story. She went kicking and screaming into mediumship. Why am I seeing these spirits? Make them go away, until she finally embraced it. My memoir is called Messages of Hope, how it talks about the Navy career, 9/11 and Susan's passing, and then all of the evidence that I brought through that convinced me this is so real.
Wow.
I believe my favorite book is Wolf's Message, which tells the story of a young man who died the same way my Susan did, struck by lightning.
Wow.
But he left a poem of his own, handwritten with a drawing that he did the day before he died, that absolutely foretold that he was going to die by a lightning strike, and he left a drawing of exactly where it would happen.
Oh,
so
my God.
That's just the opener of the book. He came to me the day before I did a reading for his parents, dropped in on me at 5:30 in the morning and gave me so much evidence about him, and I had no idea who he was at the time. And it becomes a kind of a spiritual mystery, because 73% of the things he gave in that drop-in and his actual reading, his parents could validate, but the other 28%, 27% could not validate. But over the next 2 months, the things that they thought were wrong came to light in this beautiful unfolding of a message for all humanity that's just stunning. And everybody who reads it starts having synchronicities with wolves and the other things in the book. And it's a real eye-opener for people.
Wonderful.
Story.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, I know there's quite a few people who are in the midst of grieving right now with the virus. And I know there's a few people here tonight who have lost loved ones. What particular books would you like to suggest to them that you have put out there?
Those are it right there.
Those are the main ones right there that you'd like to mention. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Still Right Here.
Still Right Here. Messages of Hope would be the one to start with, I believe. Or Still Right Here and Wolf's Message. Don't miss it. Awesome. You cannot deny that there is a greater reality, and our loved ones are still here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what sort of message could you right now give some of these people who need to hear some sort of hope, some sort of because you've been through grief very recently yourself.
Mm-hmm. And the main thing is to be open to this possibility of an afterlife. If you don't believe it's real, you literally put up your own block to it and you just won't see it. You create with your thoughts. So the fact that people are attending tonight, I know you already have an open door, an open mind to this. And then set the intention of being aware of signs that your loved ones are sending. Talk to them for sure and ask them, show me a sign that you're around. And the thing is, you can ask for specific signs. I'm not talking about feathers and pennies and butterflies, which are very often valid signs. I'm asking for, I'd like you to show me you're around. And so in the next few days, please show me and you pause and something will come into your mind to ask for. And it's in that pause when a droplet of God drops in, because your loved one knows what you're going to encounter in the next few days. And you may think you are asking for a sign because you pause to think about it, but they see what's ahead of you. They'll put the thought in your mind. It'll sound like your own. So you say, okay, if you're really around, if I can really trust this, give me a sign in the next few days of a ceramic turtle. And now where did that come from? You know, and so you forget about it, and you're walking around and you're going through a garden shop at Home Depot and there's a ceramic turtle. Because your loved one's already in your thoughts. They already know you have to go to Home Depot in the next day or two, and you just guided. That's how it works. And you just keep playing that sign game, as I call it, and it opens the door to longer conversations. I have a class coming up in personal mediumship.
Please, yes.
Personal mediumship, because I teach classes in mediumship, but so many people, they don't want to be a medium. They just want to talk to their own loved ones. So,
Yes.
so that's what this upcoming class is, to help people, because it's the same process to connect with your own loved one as to connect with other people's loved ones. Much more complicated with others' loved ones, because you have to trust, and well, they'll provide all the evidence you need to trust it. That's what I love. May I just explain evidential mediumship, please?
Please, absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand the term, but that's where you as a medium insist from the spirit world, lovingly, of course, from the heart. If I'm going to do a reading with you, please tell me things I couldn't possibly know, that only your loved one will know and can validate this is you. And it needs to be something that differentiates you from everybody else on the planet, that's not generic, that makes them go, wow. And that's what makes me still go, wow, after doing readings for a decade. I just yesterday was doing a reading and I just started laughing and clapping my hands. And I just said, may I never get tired of the beautiful evidence that those in the spirit world give us, because it's just wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Suzanne, so you've brought out some wonderful points, and I chuckle. I had a point that I was holding on to, and I got sidetracked to follow your last point. So it's just
right.
wonderful, the wording. And I want to say you've had to change a lot over these years in order to come to where you are, and that's a huge thing that I don't think that the public always knows about mediums, that we awaken to this concept, we start training, and we're changing left and right. We're not the same person we were to begin with.
Yeah, but on the outside to my husband, hopefully I've changed for the better, because in order to connect with spirit, we need to work on ourselves and clear out our own stuff.
Exactly.
So anytime he pushes my button, instead of pushing back, I say, why did that irritate me? Or why did I get defensive? Because that's ego. So if I can work on that and clear it out, I become a better wife and a better medium. And it's been a beautiful journey. And so the only way I can say I've changed is, oh, I'm so much more peaceful now. And I love everybody. I love everybody so much. And you learn that it's the soul that does the reading, not the person. So we can look at all of this human drama that we're all embroiled in now from the soul's perspective and find peace in an instant. That's why I love teaching mediumship, because the fringe benefit is you find freedom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you, okay, now I know what I was holding on to and got sidetracked. You mentioned you've got a class coming up. You want to share the class?
Sure.
With the group here, and any other events that you would like to share?
Yes, I have on-demand classes on my website on mediumship, specifically five different classes that people can take, and I tell about the difference in them. But this one is specifically called Personal Mediumship, and I'm starting it first by doing its 2-day class online in April 10th and 11th. It's on my events calendar, but then it will be on demand if you can't join me live. But it's the tools for connecting. And anybody who's studied with me before, you probably wouldn't want to take that class because it's not going to be anything new. It's just focused on your own connections. Unless you just love this material, we always hear things differently every time. So anybody's welcome. But because I wasn't born seeing spirits, and I still don't see them, but I feel them, I hear them, I sense them, I see images that they give me. It's total trust and knowing you can't deny they're here. So because of that, I have literally taken notes all along this journey. What works, what doesn't work, what gets in the way, what is the best practice, what is the process to connect. So instead of saying, well, you just connect, no, I break it down and then we make it simple. So
That's good.
it's like I'm
That's
talking
important.
tonight, people say my classes are very little fluff and a lot of meat.
Well, that's good, because then people can take that meat and develop mediumship the way that they're meant to with spirit. And you were talking about the various, I'm going to say the clairs, okay, which is clairvoyance, clairaudience, the various psychic senses that we develop. Not everybody is going to develop them.
Not every one of them, but you never know again. And they can just come online later down the line.
Right.
So we learn to flow with what we have and let it develop from there.
Right. And when you're, if you're experiencing, say, several different mediums doing messages off a platform or something, they're all going to be working differently with spirit. And the bottom line is they're protecting themselves. They're making sure they're bringing in positive information, and they're focused on the love between the two worlds.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That is totally huge. At some point, I want to open it up so people can ask you some questions, but I want to ask you first, what other topics in regards to your work and mediumship, death, loss, that you feel is important to share here today?
Yes, and my teaching always can be distilled down to what was in the biography that I teach, this way of living called the awakened way. And you don't have to have had some big spiritual awakening to understand it at all, but it is Wolf's message distilled down into 3 principles. And the first one is understanding that we are multidimensional beings, not just a limited, finite human being. And when we understand that we are a light being, our basic essence is consciousness, awareness, that changes everything, because we get to change our point of view at any moment. And the more we exercise our choice in seeing differently, the more we open our options and find peace. So that first principle, you are both a soul and a human being now, not when you die, is beautiful. The second principle that I share with everybody is we really are completely interconnected. We're part of one big web. And that's not just here in the human form, that's across the veil. When you start recognizing that, you see the synchronicities all the time. Oh my gosh, I wish maybe I can tell you my pomegranate story. It's my latest story of the web. I'm making a note. And then the third note, the third principle of the awakened way is that we find our way home, which is heaven, right? Home with a capital H, through the heart. Heaven is right here, whether we're alive in this body or not in this body. When we don't have this body, which is a filter, then we're aware of this immense love that is the foundational essence of this world. But until that time, through meditation, inner journeys, through choosing love over everything, we can touch that heaven and bring it here. So we find our way home through the heart, not the head trying to figure things out and be logical. We find the perfect balance there. And that's the fringe benefit of finding out that there really is a spirit world and love never dies.
Awesome. And you have a wonderful way with words, and I need to say that. your choice of words it shows me truly how much you've grown and how much you've come to embrace all this work.
May I share this pomegranate story?
Please, pomegranate of all things.
I don't know how many of you, let me see, I'm going to go to gallery view. I want to see something. I do monthly webinars online where I share with the latest teaching from my spirit team every month. If you have your camera on, raise your hand if you were on my webinar last night. So only half of you have your cameras on, but only one person. So bear with me, Kathy, while I tell the pomegranate story again. But I did a reading just 2 weeks ago, and my client has a sister across the veil, and her sister held up a pomegranate in the spirit world. I recognized it right away. Okay. I've connected with thousands of people in the spirit world. It was the first time anybody has ever shown me a pomegranate. And her sister here said, oh yes, I used to give her pomegranates when she was sick with cancer. So just a nice little piece of very unique evidence among many pieces in that reading. And that whole reading was so awesome. I was typing up the notes to share it in last night's webinar. 10 minutes after typing up the notes, I went to do another reading. This is a couple days later, but the next reading after that last one. And in that reading, that was the reading for the lady in Azerbaijan. I said to her, she had such an unusual name, I couldn't even pronounce it. I said, where are you? She said, Azerbaijan. Wow. In that reading, a young man she knew came through with evidence, and he held up a pomegranate. Now, 2 readings in a row. What are the chances of that? And why would they do that? I'll tell you why in a minute. And do you know that the pomegranate is the national fruit of Azerbaijan?
Oh.
So there's more to that story, but I'm just cutting to the quick. This shows the web that we all have guides, and our guides, in military terms, brief the spirits. This is how Suzanne works. You got to work with her. And we know that she just did a reading, the last one that had a pomegranate. So this is going to be really cool if you show a pomegranate, because they're going to see that we all really know what's going on with each other, and we're part of this big web. And then she'll get to share it with people and show them that. And it happens all the time, these wonderful, magical moments that aren't magic at all. But the way it works when you realize it's one big web.
Well, it's yes, it's one big web, but for some reason I want to use the word natural law. I know it's not talked about a lot, but it's an important thing here. As you're talking, there's no such thing as a miracle. There's no such thing as magic. It's that higher force, whether you want to call it God, creator, whatever term you want to use, it's the laws that it can create across the board as things happen, And
if I could just encourage everybody to take on a miracle mindset, knowing that a miracle is simply when the greater reality shows itself in your life. Then you wake up in the morning and say, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen today. And it happens over and over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know as a medium, I'm sure you can say the same thing too, how amazed you are, like you said, the pomegranate, but different experiences that as a medium we may have personally or while we're working with someone. It's just still blows my mind when I see or hear something. How about you?
Oh yeah, just did a reading yesterday for the daughter of my high school friend, who I've seen twice in 40 years. And I felt a little pressure because she doesn't know me as a medium, my friend, at all. And she paid for the reading for her daughter, which kind of blew me away. I'm feeling a little awkward because it all happened with my assistant. I show up and it's like, you're my friend's daughter. And her guides came through in the reading because she really was too young to have people across the veil. So it was really guides talking to her. And I said, your guides are showing me that your mom and I were in the play Alice in Wonderland in junior high school together, but they're showing me the Cheshire Cat and it has to do with you. And she said, yeah, I played the Cheshire Cat in a school play. I mean, this is just so beautiful. And it was
Yeah.
like, okay, good. Now mom knows this is real. I know, but now your mom knows.
Yeah, yeah,
Really cool.
wonderful. Awesome, awesome. Suzanne, I'd like, if it's okay with you, I'd like to see if we got any questions for you. Is that okay?
Oh, I love taking questions. Yeah.
All right. And what I'm going to do is request people to, if you're blackened out, if your video, if your visual is dark, please bring it so I can see you.
I'm gonna step aside.
And what I'm going to,
Glass of water.
pardon?
I'll be
Go
right
ahead.
back.
And what I'm going to request of you is, like you're in class, to raise your hand and let me know if you wish to speak to Suzanne, and we'll go from there. Okay, Suzanne, I've asked people to raise their hands, and we'll go by that. And then of course we'll have to go through the process of muting people. Who would like to ask a question to Suzanne? Ah, come on. All right, Lori, can you mute? Go ahead.
Okay, you know me. I'll talk anywhere, anytime. First off, I just have to say how much Bonnie reminds me of Robert Conrad, the actor from the 60s shows.
What's that got to do with anything?
Nothing, but that's just what I wanted to say. No, when Suzanne was talking about the pomegranate,
Yeah.
I
Talk directly to her.
well, when my son was in hospice and he got to the point that he couldn't really eat the food that was there, and the stuff that they would grind up to me was like horrible. I would make green tea pomegranate smoothies and bring them to him every single day, and he just sucked them down. So to me, that says I am where I'm supposed to be right now.
That's it. That's
And I should be here
that I
listening to the
told
show
the
tonight.
pomegranate story. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And Walter's around you all the time, isn't he, dear?
All the time. And he's been talking up a storm the last couple of weeks. So
He must drop coins in front of you.
no, I wish.
I'm seeing this, and I see coins falling down, and I don't normally. So
Well, that could be that my grandchildren gave me a swear jar, and I had to put money in it when they were here on Tuesday.
Oh, see?
So that could be, but you never know. Powerball's getting drawn tonight, so who knows?
Right. Awesome. Anything else you want to share with Suzanne, Lori?
No, I'm good. Thank you, hon.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Who else would like to share something with Suzanne? Come on.
I have a question. I don't have my video on. It's Kathleen Canavan.
Go ahead.
Suzanne, I was curious, you're talking about the personal mediumship, and I've never been to a class or anything like that, but I do feel like I've been able to sense my son a little bit more and other things beyond, the pennies and the cardinals, with specific things that I ask for, especially in threes. So when you see that, is that kind of your confirmation, or just can you tell me a little bit more about what that means?
The fact that you were even drawn to it and you identified that with moments when you feel your son's presence, absolutely. You wouldn't even be asking the question if that connection didn't exist. I hope that makes sense to you. That's the part of the web that you see the threes and you think of your son, and it's not wishful thinking. It's because that connection exists.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. There's a few mediums on board here too, or students of mediumship. Any questions there? Okay, we got a hand, one of the Kathys.
I don't remember exactly how I was drawn to Suzanne. You popped up somewhere in an email or something through the Shift Network, and I signed up for one of the classes because I was really interested in connecting with my husband. I have learned so much from you in the last 2 classes. The things you say, and I'll go back and I'll listen to them again on the recordings. And I realize now that, yes, I can do this. And so many things are starting to get stronger. And slowly, just like you said happened, with your stepdaughter, and I'm opening up more. It is an absolutely wonderful experience. And one of the things is I had a reading done through somebody who took your class. We're in a group on Sundays. She does a medical reading, and it was funny, but it was just so interesting. My husband came through and said to check the dresser drawer. There's a penny in there that has a date on it that means something.
Wow.
There was a whole bunch of coins. He would take, anyway, I've never cleaned out the dresser drawer. So I'm getting all these coins together. I'm checking all the dates. I come across a nickel that had the year that we got married. It was a Canadian nickel. Got married in Canada in that year.
Nice.
And then I came across a penny with the same year on it. And I was like, oh my, it's just giving me shivers. Just
I got them too.
Yeah, wonderful.
so, these little signs that I'm noticing and paying attention to everything. I mean, the smallest little thing, something pops into your mind, like you said, no, that didn't come from me. The other day I said a word. I never say that word, but he always did.
Uh-huh.
And it was the way he said it. I'm just so grateful for your classes and your direct.
I'm so grateful it's been helpful to you. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Kathy. Wonderful, wonderful. Anyone else? Mom, we have a wonderful, Sylvia, do you not unmute yourself? Good.
Hi, Suzanne. So good to see you
Hi,
again.
Sylvia.
It's been since 2017 in Kerrville, Texas.
How about that?
Last time we saw each other, I guess, and then in Scottsdale. I've been working very eagerly, passionately every day with mediumship, developing symbols, connecting more, deeper. Are you planning on having an advanced class of mediumship for us, or?
Did you take Serving Spirit level 1?
And 2.
And 2. That's as far as I've been teaching so far.
Okay.
I'm just waiting, everything that comes, it just comes from the guides. I don't plan it. It's just there. Oh, now we have to do this. So if they have something in the works, I think I better start asking for it.
Okay. I look forward to it. It's great
Okay.
seeing you again. Thank you so much for all the gifts you give us.
It's a joy.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry, would you like to share anything? I don't know why I've been drawn to you, sweetheart. If not, that's okay. That's all right. Barney, I need to say it's often you're the one male amongst the group. Welcome, sweetie.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. My father was lieutenant commander, World War II in Korea. So
Oh, nice.
I was kind of surprised to see that there was a naval officer who is now a medium, but it's been a pleasure getting to know you.
I would recommend you watch the documentary about my story. You'd like some of the military pictures on there. It's on Amazon Prime and on YouTube. You can just Google Suzanne Giesemann Messages of Hope. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And Barney, I know you're in one of the Carolinas. I keep forgetting which.
I'm right outside of Raleigh in North Carolina.
The triangle. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And Barney is also a medium.
Okay,
So,
great.
I just
Nice.
wanted to. So it's instead everybody was being quiet. I'm just kind of going where I'm feeling drawn. Suzanne, are you drawn to anybody to talk to?
Well, I do want to address one thing you brought up in my biography about Hemisync recordings, and you said I'm going to need to ask about that. So let me just share with you that I teach some courses at the Monroe Institute in Virginia that Robert Monroe founded, and he's one of the greatest adventurers in consciousness, and really helped people open up to the fact that we are so much more than the physical body. That's his phrase. And he developed the technology of using binaural beats when you meditate. You have music with these special tones overlaid on the music so that a certain frequency comes through the right ear and another frequency that's a little different comes through the left ear, 100 hertz and 104 hertz. And when the brain hears that discrepancy, it creates an entrainment that helps you drop into a meditative state so much easier. So it's like, I call it training wheels for meditation. And I was invited to create a series of Hemisync recordings to help mediumship. So I actually have 4 recordings, and all of the scripts that I narrated were downloaded, channeled from my guides. So it's really funny. They've done so many recordings, and these are their top selling recordings. When I sent the scripts at their request to the Hemisync people, they normally go back and forth and tweak the scripts and edit and all that. They have not once changed a single word of any of my scripts because they come from a higher dimension than this one. It's really cool. And the feedback, you can read the reviews on the Hemisync website, that people have amazing experiences in meditation. I meditate to the binaural beats to this day. Not that I need it, but you're not even aware of the beats most of the time, but you just get to a greater expanded state. And I have a new series with them, Tools for Awakening. One is just now out, Getting to Know Your True Nature, and another one will be out in about a month.
Now, where can they find the Hemisync?
Yeah, they can go to my website and look under audio recordings, and then there's a link straight to my page on the Hemisync site.
Right, which is, hang on, Suzanne Giesemann.
Right. And Hemisync stands for hemispheric synchronization.
Okay, okay. And you also have a second website I'm aware of. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Are you talking about dailyway.org? Or
Isn't it,
theawakenway.org?
I think it's, well, well, then if you have 3, go ahead. Let's
Well,
talk.
theawakenway.org is actually a page within my website. You can get there either way, and that summarizes the principles that I shared and the ways to live the awakened way. But dailyway.org is where I post the daily messages that I get in meditation from my guides. There are maybe 4,000 of them now. Wow. And over 11,000 people get them by email every day because they speak to people's hearts so beautifully. And we just have this routine. We get up, my husband walks the dogs, I come up here, I sit down, I get in an expanded state and say, please give me a message that will speak to whoever needs it today. And I wait, and then boom, it's just there, short and sweet, and clearly not for me. And then I go downstairs, I post it while my husband makes breakfast, and we get on with our day. And it's a really great way.
And what is that website now?
dailyway.org. You can just go on and read it. If they speak to you, sign up to get them by email. I post them on my Facebook page every day too, and they're beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah. It sounds to me like it might be good for someone who is doing some grief work right now, or is needing some positive just positive energy around them.
Absolutely. Balance out all the negative things we're exposed to all the time. I always recommend that to people. We need to be raising our vibration any way we can, and read something uplifting every day.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And okay, so in case anybody's come in late, we have with us a wonderful guest, Suzanne Giesemann. And her website again is SuzanneGiesemann.com. That's your main website. Class work you've got coming up? Class?
We're planning our trip across the country that we do every summer. And I'm actually going to be doing some mediumship classes in person, probably out west. And a personal mediumship class in April online. And then my monthly webinars, one night every month, are always 2 hours packed with stuff. So lots of stuff going on.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And anybody else have a quick question here or a share with Suzanne? Wow.
And
Wow.
Pamela, I have about 134 videos on my YouTube channel, lots of Q&As and fun stuff and
And
presentations, free workshops that I've just put out there for people. So if you
that's
can't
good.
at night,
And
something.
the YouTube channel is Suzanne Giesemann.
Yes.
Awesome. That's simple, very easily done. Wonderful.
Yeah, I do channel my guides and I have some videos of those channeling sessions on YouTube as well. So that's
You have a particular guide beginning with the letter S.
Sanaya.
Say it again.
Sanaya.
Sanaya.
It's a
Okay.
collective consciousness that they're always here. We all have a team of guides that are always with us. That's my biggest goal, is to empower everybody to get their own answers. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. And I want quickly before we wrap up here, I just want to share, let's see, the Suzanne Geis, I keep coming back to that, Suzanne Giesemann there. But I'm correcting myself. I apologize. I want to quickly mention that I have a number of classes I'm doing. They're being posted on my Facebook page, and that they're also all on the website. I've got a couple wonderful guests coming up in the upcoming weeks. I have Mari Cartagenova, who will be doing a show calling Understand Your Psychic Senses about our clairs. There's a few more guests I'm still coordinating dates with, but please watch. Suzanne, I wish I could give you a real hug. Send
I
a hug
feel
from here.
everybody. Yeah.
I mean, you're a gift, and I want to thank you for being here tonight. And I want to say, keep up the work you're doing for all of us.
You know, if I could just say, Pamela, when I studied Arthur Finley, I know that a lot of you listening tonight will understand when Mavis Patilla said to the group that was gathered the same question that I'm going to say to you right now. How many of you could not be trying to make this connection? You can't not do this work. It's your soul's calling to connect and to wake up. And that's why it's a joy. And it's just so anytime we can gather together with kindred spirits is such a blessing. So I thank you, Pamela, and all of you for your time tonight.
You're welcome. And as I've said before, and I will say it again, as Suzanne was referring to her YouTube channel, this particular interview with Suzanne here on Love Never Dies is being recorded and will then, once it's processed through, I will be posting it with Suzanne's picture, which will make it simple so you know it's hers, and it'll be on my YouTube channel, which right now is basically it's the easiest way for you to go and check it out is by looking for Pamela Marie Edmunds. And please, and if you're enjoying what's there, please, you know, what's the word? Subscribe. Thank you. I'm pushing to get to that, make that, you know, it's a newer channel, that 100, where YouTube will allow me to go in and put whatever name I wish to put on it, so it's identifiable easier. And that's going to be Pamela Marie Edmunds, so people can find it. I too do channeling and have some number of wonderful messages there. So thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's been a thrill, and for some reason I have a feeling we're going to connect again.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And take care, everybody.
Everybody.
God bless. Be safe, and remember, people out there can use some prayer and some help during these days, and to be aware of that. God bless them all, and God bless you. So thank you all for joining us. Look forward to seeing you all again.